Cricut's new policy has crafters fired up. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about making sewing and crafts fun and approachable for everyone. And we have got to talk about Cricut because things are getting pretty crazy. This one's going to attempt to put the report in Sewing Report. We're going to break down everything that's happening, what everyone's saying, sort of the backstory behind this whole Cricut commotion. And at the end of this video, I'm actually going to share my own opinion. Yes, a real opinion. So stay tuned for that, but let's dig right in. And yeah, I do have an iPad because there are quite a few sources to attribute. So let's start off with the announcement that Cricut made on March 12th, 2021. Now, for all of you maybe who are not in the Cricut world, the current generation of Cricut machines, there's like the Cricut Explore, Cricut Joy, I have the Cricut Maker. I've been a long-time Cricut customer. I even have a super old Cricut Expression that only takes cartridges. I know, I still have it. It still works. Unlike the old cartridge-based machines, the current iteration of all of the Cricut machines, you need to have Cricut's proprietary software in order to actually use the machine. It is called Design Space, and there are a few different versions. There is a free version, and there is also like a Cricut Standard Access and a Cricut Premium Access. I have the Cricut Premium Access. Pretty much all you can do with the free version is use it to upload your own designs or fonts, and it can do like the basic like placing on the mat and cut function. With the standard plan, it comes with images, fonts, designs, and projects. And then with the premium membership, it also includes further discounts, free shipping on certain orders of like $50 or more, and more discounts if you buy materials. And it also includes, I think, more licensed images. Now, the standard plan is $9.99 a month or $95.88 per year. So that's about $7.99 per month if you pay annually. And the premium membership, you have to pay annually. And that also equals out to $9.99 a month if you pay annually. So that's why I decided to go with the premium membership. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I have mostly been using the Cricut designs and projects. They're fine. I think the thing that people are frustrated about is the software itself. It is really glitchy. I've personally had issues with it, and I've had it for a few months. For several weeks, I had zero access to the text function. When I would click on the T text button, I would just get the spinny wheel, and that was it. So that was kind of sucky, especially when you're paying like $120 a year for it. And then during a recent upgrade, for some reason, whenever you would click on a new like project, it wouldn't show the grid design or show any of your elements. And then you had to do like a workaround and go back to like the classic function. It was real weird, but for what you're paying for it, Cricut, I do feel like you could really step it up as far as the Cricut Design Space functionality, the features. It's just, you know, not super impressive, and a lot of people have made complaints about Design Space. For the most part, it seems like people who were using the free version were mostly designing their stuff elsewhere and then just importing it into Design Space to cut, or they were buying like SVG files off of Etsy or other places and just bringing those in too. And I've purchased a few designs off of Etsy and did like that feature, and I've designed a few things in Cricut Design Space or in Adobe Illustrator and brought that stuff in. But the change that people are upset about is that Cricut just announced on their blog that I guess moving forward, members who use the free Design Space app without a Cricut Access plan, the paid ones, that you will only be able to upload 20 personal images and or patterns every calendar month. That's not a lot. Members with a paid Cricut Access plan will have unlimited uploads, and it says all members with or without a paid plan will keep all of their existing uploads in Design Space. And something kind of interesting is that Cricut sort of, it seems, tried to kind of like hide this little update in with like a bunch of other updates, like about the new features for Design Space and some other like projects and stuff like that. I guess we're gonna have some access to new features like offset or project collections. I guess you can group your projects in something called kerning. And this, I don't really know why this would be a huge perk. It says educational videos in Design Space. Really, Cricut, I mean, there are so many tutorials on YouTube, and I've seen some of the Cricut videos, and I don't think they're that fantastic. And in fact, I've been trying to find videos on certain aspects of Cricut or the projects, and the ones that Cricut does have, I personally haven't found that helpful. So maybe it's just me, but just one gal's opinion here. Even though I have the paid plan and I don't really upload a lot of images myself, I can understand the frustration. A lot of people who have a Cricut and the free plan do seem to upload a lot of their own images, especially if you have like an Etsy shop or if you sell your stuff to friends and family members or even make a lot of gifts. 20 images really isn't that many, especially if you are having to make tweaks to your design. I mean, you may have to end up uploading the same image like 5 times, and then that's like 4 projects. So people, man, they are not taking the news well. I do lurk in the Cricut subreddit. I've also heard there's a lot of hubbub in the Cricut Facebook groups. I don't think I'm in any of those, but oh my gosh, the stuff I'm seeing on Reddit, people are ready to go nuclear on Cricut. I've seen so many posts in the last like 24 hours or so of people who are just beyond pissed off. I saw one post that was like, F Cricut, don't buy this stuff ever again, switch into a silhouette. There are now not 1, but 2 change.org petitions of people trying to get Cricut to reverse this decision. And there are a lot of signatures on the thing. Full disclosure, I did sign them both. Even though I'm not personally affected by this change, I do support the people who are affected, and I think this is a pretty big deal. And I'm gonna elaborate more on my own thoughts at the end. And also, full disclaimer, I have never done like a sponsored content post or video with Cricut. I am a Cricut affiliate currently. We'll see after this video, I don't know. I don't really have like a relationship with this company beyond the affiliate relationship, which really is very impersonal. If you've never done an affiliate program before, usually it's for people who have like a blog or YouTube channel, and you kind of just sign up on a website and you don't really like talk to actual people. You get accepted or denied, and then you get affiliate links that you can use for different products and stuff, and then you get a commission. What seems to be coming up a lot online in these discussions is the fact that Cricut in 2014 posted on Facebook that creative freedom should be free. Cricut Design Space is free to use for all file types. There is no subscription required to cut your own images. Upload and cut your SVG, DXF, BMP, JPEG, PNG, and GIF files absolutely free. It says design with your system fonts absolutely free. Use Cricut Design Space for free and try out any image in your design for free. And in fact, on their frequently asked questions page, up until recently, it said that you were allowed to upload unlimited images into the design space. This does appear to be another case of a company originally kind of baiting customers with one promise and then not delivering on it, like we've seen recently with Craftsy. Don't even get me started on that. Oh, and by the way, though, my subscription to that does seem to actually be canceled, and my credit card has not been charged. Weird timing. I did get a cancellation email shortly after I put out this video about my Craftsy experience, so who knows. But with Cricut, people are like, look, I bought the machine based on the promise you gave me that this design software would be free. And there has been some talk too, the fact that you have to be like connected to the internet to use the software. So it's not one of those programs where you can download it and then use it offline. You can't use the Cricut software offline. So again, you end up having to upload your images to their cloud. Now I could understand maybe they have some issues with cloud storage and whatnot, but then why not create a free downloadable version of the software that people can use, and then they don't take up your server space with all of their uploads? Just a thought. Not joking here, but I legit saw a post on Reddit where someone's asking other customers whether they should come together to do like a class action lawsuit. So I started to try to do some research on what likelihood that might have some success, and I looked at the legal page, which by the way is, I will say, a little cringe. It's got like a married couple on it, and it's like, you may now read the fine print. I'm like, that's a little weird, but whatever. I did see one term in there about the website. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm wondering if maybe it's in there for reasons like this. Cricut reserves the right to discontinue any aspect of our site or sponsored activity at any time. So it's kind of telling you, hey, whatever's on our website, and I'm assuming maybe that stretches to the design space. I even went and dug out my warranty just to see if there was anything in there, and there was some verbiage that I found interesting. It says Cricut does not guarantee or warrant uninterrupted use of the product or its supporting software. Now, I'm sure Cricut and most corporations realize that people don't actually read the fine print, but if their marketing said stuff like use the software software for free, it will always be free. People will rely on that information to make their consumer decisions. And it does seem a little strange to me, I guess, that they went ahead and changed it, especially just so suddenly, not a lot of heads up, and not even like grandfathering in customers that may have already bought their machines. But a lot of people said in these online places that I was looking, look, I bought my machine with the understanding that the software would be free. I don't consider 20 uploads a month to be free. And I've seen people saying like, I'm selling this, I now have a 20-pound paperweight, I'm gonna go and get a Silhouette Cameo, which I don't know, I've never had a Silhouette Cameo, maybe they're really awesome. But I think this change has really jarred a lot of the Cricut customers. Just from what I'm seeing, people are not too happy about it. Another factor that customers are speculating about is the fact that Cricut recently filed for an initial public offering. So that would mean that ProvoCraft, the parent company, would be on the stock exchange and public stock would be offered to anyone who wanted to buy it. Kind of interesting, and the speculation is that, hey, maybe they're trying to look good on paper, more profitable, or trying to get more money coming in. I don't know. I mean, I think the ramifications of this are gonna be fairly significant. Like if you do more than 20 uploads a month, you are certainly gonna feel compelled to get one of the paid plans so that you can do more than 20 a month, which still is not very much. But some people, this might be like, whatever, I can pay the $120 a year. To other people, they may be on a budget, and even buying the machine might have been a financial sacrifice to begin with. These are not the cheapest machines ever. I think I paid like $350 for this and it was on sale. And then you also have to factor in buying all these supplies, you know, your materials, all that stuff. And I know a lot of people too online are like, I am never buying Cricut supplies. Let's unfollow them on social media. Let's never give them another dime. I'm selling my Cricut. I feel like the blowback on this one is large. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because this is kind of a big deal. And I have also made Cricut videos here more recently. So, I mean, this is a pretty big change. And just after what happened with Craftsy and all the Forever classes, I think this is another instance of a company being a little bit tone deaf to the community. People are so upset about this. I've also seen posts saying people are finding all like the emails for people at Cricut and asking people to email these people in demand to make changes. Again, the petitions. I mean, it's getting really insane. And I have not seen crafters worked up about something since the Craftsy incidents, which, so I don't know what kind of impact this will have long term. I think one possible implication will be for all of the third-party sellers of SVG files. There are so many on Etsy and on different websites, and if you can only upload 20 images a month on the free plan, could that lead to people buying fewer third-party files like that? I don't know. And then there was also talk that there had been some like third-party software to kind of bypass Cricut Design Space, but allegedly, and again, I could not find a lot of like official sources on that, but allegedly Cricut may have taken some legal action against those companies to shut them down. So even if someone from this point tries to develop their own like open source software, judging from the past, Cricut may choose to go after those organizations or those people involved in that. So I feel like this is turning into a really big mess. Cricut, man, I don't know what you're thinking. Okay, so let's get to my honest thoughts. I think this is a huge mistake, Cricut. I think this is going to alienate many of your current customers, dissuade quite a few potential future customers. Just the optics of this is not a good look, especially during a pandemic where many people are struggling financially. You're going to kind of try to squeeze your current customers who are using the free version, and it seems like there's some pressure for all of those people to upgrade to the premium or the standard version. I don't know. I think a good solution to this would be, well, one, at the very least, I would say Cricut, consider at least upping the number of uploads. Instead of 20, maybe make it 50 or 100. And I think if you're worried about people taking up like your server space, I really don't understand why this company cannot come up with a version of the software that you can download on your computer or your tablet and use offline. It does frustrate me as a customer that you need to be connected to the internet in order to use this machine. I think if you're selling a machine like this, you should be able to use it standalone even if you don't have internet service. I actually do know people that have very poor internet service. Those customers, like what I guess they're SOL, and I've even experienced myself not having access to all the functions of the software anyways. And if you're paying $10 a month, you're like, okay, what is this? And I feel like a lot of the criticisms of the software are valid, and I agree with them. Another thing I'd like to point out is companies like Cricut really rely on word of mouth and the huge crafting community talking about it. I remember when I first heard of Cricut, they were literally running like half-hour infomercials in the middle of the night back in like 2009, and that's how I first bought a Cricut. A lot of people love their Cricuts. There's like a cult following. They have Facebook groups. There's entire YouTube channels dedicated mostly to Cricut crafts and paper crafts. There's subreddits, and people talk in all of them. So I've seen just so much blowback and outrage in these communities. I think you're not creating new fans of the brand by doing this. And while that may equal more short-term financial gains and just some quick money grabs, I guess, I think in the long term, this is certainly going to tarnish the Cricut brand and make customers, myself included, distrustful of what you say and how you market products, especially after I saw that Facebook post from 2014 where you did promise people that they would have access to that software for free. And now you're kind of saying, well, it's still free, but you can only use it this much. I think that's kind of crappy, and I would like to see more companies put customers first, not the money first. And companies need to realize that without loyal, trusting customers, you're not going to have a business at all. And that's kind of what we've seen with companies like Craftsy, where if you jerk customers around long enough, they're not going to stick with you. I've seen so many people in the last day or so saying, I'm going over to Silhouette, or I'm just selling my Cricut. You're really like motivating them to not want to be a customer of your brand. And even for the Cricut owners that do end up shelling out the money, I feel like those customers are not going to do it happily, especially if they don't use the Cricut images and the Cricut projects. And I'll give you one example. There is a podcaster that I follow, and I am a supporter of them on Patreon. I am happy to throw money at this person because I feel like their podcast is so good. They only charge $5 a month, and you get 4 bonus episodes, 1 per week. And I am happy to give them my support, give them my money. And I think Cricut would be better off fostering that sort of attitude where a customer is happy to pay them that money for the subscription and not feel like resentful for having to buy the subscription. They're not going to be shelling out that money happily. They're going to be doing it in a manner that's like, I still can't believe they're doing this to me. And another example, I have never purchased an Apple iPhone. I know it's 2021. I had one for work for a while, but I was not paying the bill. But I personally have never bought an iPhone. And you want to know what the reason why is? It's not because I can't afford an iPhone. It's because I am cheap and I do not want to pay like $100 a month for a data plan and phone service. My phone service is $25 a month, unlimited everything. It's run on Wi-Fi. But the reason why I just don't buy that product is because I don't want to have those costs associated with it. So I do think there's going to be quite a few customers that if they see they have to shell out $350 or whatever for a Cricut maker and then also pay $10 a month every month for the subscription, that may be enough for them to be like, you know what, not worth it to me. And on one last note, if you know any Cricut employees or come into contact with any, don't be mad at them. My guess is that it's probably a few people in upper management that made that decision, and I'm gonna guess most of the Cricut employees probably have no control over that. So I feel like if you're going to direct your anger someplace, feel free to sign those petitions or try to contact the corporate customer service or whatnot. I think if more customers make their voices known on what they want, that might enact that company to make some positive change and listen to consumers. But again, just please don't misdirect your anger, because I'm sure that the person like answering the phones at Cricut has no control over the policies. So that's just my take on all of the shenanigans going on with Cricut. Let me know below in the comments if you have any thoughts on this. I know it's a little crazy, and I'll keep you guys updated. You know, who knows what'll happen. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Jen with the Sewing Report. I'll see you guys in the next video.